Good morning. Namaste. So wonderful to be with you again. Start of a beautiful week. Hey, those of you on Instagram Live and Facebook Live as well. I am really excited to bring you a beautiful transmission today about the third eye and third eye activation. I'm good. Shush. I'm really well. Thank you so much for asking. How are you? So, if you have any questions or any comments about the third eye, you want to share any of your experiences about working with the third eye, or you want to know something specific about the third eye, then please leave a comment in the comment section and I'll get to those during this transmission. So let's get into the third eye and third eye activation. So the third eye is also known in the yogic world in Sanskrit as the Agya chakra. And this is one of our main energy points. It's a very fascinating energy point because it's a portal. It's like a wormhole. It's a portal for interdimensional travel. It is a connection to our higher self or our oversoul. It is the connection with other realms, other dimensions. It's this point through which we can travel and we can meet our higher self. We can channel the wisdom from our higher self and we can travel to other realms and other dimensions beyond just this physical reality. Because this is not all there is. This is simply one aspect of reality. Just as the mind is multiple, the different parts of this universe, the different dimensions are also multiple. And so our pineal gland helps us to travel there, helps us to perceive, helps us to see these other places, helps us to see and connect to our higher self, our oversoul that exists on another, shall we say, plane, another level of existence. We are here, we are soul, and yet we are connected to something bigger, our oversoul or our higher self. And our higher self doesn't just exist here in this physical reality. It's able to navigate and move between different worlds, different realities, different dimensions, and also lives on a timeless dimension, in a timeless realm. Many of the realms beyond here are timeless. This physical 3D relative reality is bound by time because it needs the anchor point of time for physical matter to manifest, for us to have this physical body. Otherwise, if there was no time, we would just literally be suspended into pure energy. So our higher self that exists in a timeless space is all-seeing and all-knowing because it exists where there is past, present, and future all existing at once. And so our higher self has already been there, has already done that. Our future that we will live in this physical reality, our higher self has seen that already, has experienced that already, and is here to guide us in this skin, in this body, at this time. So our higher self is this really all-knowing energy, the bigger part of us that we are, of course, connected to. And it's through the third eye portal that our higher self can really come in and feed us that information. So I have some comments here. I'm going to have to nip out for literally 20 seconds because I forgot to get the charger for my laptop and it's saying low battery. So hold on for 20 seconds and I will continue. Okay. I'm back. So the third eye is located in the middle of the forehead, but further back in the middle of the head. And it's associated with an indigo color. And the colors of the chakra are related to the vibration, the particular vibrational frequency that an energy center would emit. So for those of you that are familiar with physics or remember in school and having the color spectrum, the spectrum of light, you may remember that there being an association with different colors and different frequencies. And so it makes sense that the different energy centers of our bodies, so we have the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, that these all vibrating at different frequencies are going to express themselves as different colors. This is the way that we can perceive them utilizing our technology that we have. So when we access our third eye, this is part of the technology that starts to go beyond the five sensory technology. So as a human, we're very familiar with the five senses, right? And as humans, our technology consists of so much more than just the five senses. You may have heard other people speak to extrasensory perception, ESP. Now, this isn't just some kind of paranormal activity, clairvoyant thing. This is just simply another aspect of our humanness, our beingness, our technology, is that extra sensory perception going beyond the five senses. So when we do that, we're able to tap into, feel into, know, perceive things in a different way. We can activate our intuition is very much a part of that. The sense of knowing that we have when we just absolutely just know that something is thus. That is a part of our extrasensory perception. We may start to hear, but hear differently, hear different tones, different frequencies. We might pick up on sounds that are not just coming in from this physical reality. We might be able to see with our pineal gland, we might be able to see energy in a different way, see that which is invisible, shall we say, in a different way. And that's because within the pineal gland itself, so the pineal gland is a physical organ, okay? And it's a very small and very sensitive organ. And within the pineal gland, there are rods and cones, just like there are rods and cones within the eye. And rods and cones actually are light sensitive. They pick up light and they send signals to the brain. So there's a nerve cell that sends signals from the pineal gland to the brain so that we can interpret what we're seeing in the pineal gland. Now, how amazing is it that this gland, that modern medicine recognizes, however, doesn't really talk about this incredible technology of the seeing capabilities of the pineal gland. It can actually see, has rods and cones, it can pick up, and it can send a signal to our brain to tell us what it's seeing. So when we're accessing our inner vision, you can just kind of close your eyes in meditation. You can be really focused on your third eye, and you can start to see, you can start to vision other worlds, other places, or even parts of your life, certain images that you're conjuring up, that you are manifesting within your third eye. This can happen because of the technology of the third eye, that which is coming through the portal from your higher self is able to reveal itself to you through these rods and cones. The pineal gland also produces melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone. It is a very important hormone for the immune system and for the detoxification system because melatonin is an antioxidant. It helps to create stability in the system. It helps to neutralize damage from free radicals, which are unstable molecules that we breathe in or that we ingest. Antioxidants help to support the immune system. It helps with anti-aging. It has all sorts of immunological effects. And when we're sleeping, melatonin is secreted in the body in order to help to repair the body and to help the liver to detoxify. Melatonin is regulated by the light. So when the sun goes down, the body knows to start producing melatonin. It actually helps us to sleep. It induces our sleep as well. And then it does all these amazing things to the body. So if we're not sleeping very well, or we are bombarding ourselves with way too much light in the evening and also other waves, electromagnetic frequencies, and radio waves, which the pineal gland perceives as light, then the pineal gland thinks that it doesn't need to activate. So we're getting into this realm now of starting to understand the things that might affect or impact the pineal gland, the third eye, and the activation of the third eye. If we're not living by this natural cycle of waking with the sun and resting and sleeping with the sun, then, and if we're bombarding our pineal gland with too much light from our mobile phones, if we're staring at this till 1 a.m, we're watching TV, we're on our laptop till really, really late at night, what that's doing is it's just blocking the function of the pineal gland. It's interfering with the frequency of the pineal gland and it's not able to function optimally. Now, why this is an issue is because actually, if we live a sedentary lifestyle, we're not moving about and we're not breathing properly, or if we live a lifestyle where we're not really working with the Kundalini energy, we're not bringing that energy in from the root and allowing it to go all the way to the third eye, then what happens is the third eye can become quite inactive and it can become, shall we say, calcified. So what happens is calcium and other minerals build up in the third eye because it's a very soft tissue. It's an attractive tissue. It can attract a lot of toxins. It can attract minerals, particularly. It's like a little magnet, right? And this can become calcified and hardened in the pineal gland. And as this hardens, it again blocks the function of the pineal gland, because there aren't just rods and cones in the pineal gland, there's also crystalline liquid substance within the pineal gland itself. And that crystalline liquid substance helps the pineal gland to function in the way that it does. It's our antenna, it's our receiver, it's our emitter. So with this calcification, our pineal gland just isn't working fully, and it takes energy work and different practices to start to break down the hardening, the calcification of the pineal gland so that it can start to become active again. So this is very much a part of the Kundalini energy technology, and it's part of these first initial stages that we're through of our spiritual awakening when we're working with energy, is really activating this third eye. So many of you will perceive that as a color. You may be going into your third eye, and I'm going to show you a couple of techniques to activate and to start to really break down the calcification in your third eye. But some of you may go into your third eye, you may be in meditation, you may be activating it, and you might start to see this kind of like pulsating of light, and it might be a sort of a white kind of light, or it might be the indigo color of the third eye. And these are all indications that this third eye is starting to really activate. Maybe you'll even feel a sensation in your forehead. Sometimes we can get full-on headaches. So I was in a really deep ceremony on Saturday night. I was doing some intergalactic cosmic travel, working with plant medicines, and it's like the headache was just like, it was, after the ceremony and in the morning, my whole third eye was just beaming. It was so open. It felt as if I was having a migraine. It was really, really, really intense. So these can also be a part and parcel of just what goes on as our third eye really starts to activate. It's such a powerful energy center. So it makes sense that we may experience these really intense sensations of the third eye. So Vicky has asked a question, does the third eye help to guide us? Yes, absolutely. The third eye, being this connection to our higher self, the seat of our intuition, is very much a portal and a channel for receiving guidance, not just from our higher self, but also from our guides, from our ancestors, from all the other beings that that assist us out there. We are very much aided and protected in this realm by our ancestors, by our higher self, by our guides, and they come through this portal. The pineal gland is also known as the master chakra because of these because of this role that it plays. It also works hand in hand with the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus is known as the master control center of our endocrine system. And for those of you that may have tuned into the other transmission I did on the chakra system, you might remember, or some of my other talks, you might remember me talking about the hypothalamus is where the communication for all of the hormone secreting glands, the endocrine glands, which are in the physical body, is where it all starts. It starts with the hypothalamus, and that sends a message to the pituitary gland, and then that sends a message down to the rest of the system. So the pineal and the pituitary gland are also side by side. They're there together. They're in that energy point together, and they very much are working under that control of the hypothalamus, which is the master control center of the physical body. And then the pineal gland being the master chakra, master energy center. It's also the seat of divine permission. So when we really start to give ourselves permission to connect to that higher purpose, when we're really starting to stabilize into that belief of, and that experience, that validation, that experience of that which is bigger than us, this spirit of our spirit, but also the one true creator, the spirit, the source of everything. We start to give ourselves permission to be in this, to believe, to interact, to exist in a different way. And so the third eye becomes increasingly and increasingly important as our tool, as our aid of exploration of consciousness, of exploration of this existence. It becomes the means by which we really go inwards, and we travel within ourselves. We travel with our higher selves. We travel intergalactically, and we really start to understand at a different level what it is that we're here to do. Now, the third eye is also one of the knots, okay, one of the energetic knots. And these knots are there for us to unlock. As we unlock these energy centers, we're allowing the Kundalini energy to come up, to rise, and to activate the upper chakras at a more intense level. We start to work with our energy at a more intense level. So the idea, that basic fundamental technology of the chakras is that the lower chakras, we work to unblock these. So the root, where our fear is, the sacral, where our trauma and our karma is stored, and our solar plexus, where our worry, our stress, anxiety, more on a day-to-day basis is stored in our solar plexus. We unblock this so that the energy can rise and activate the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. We're activating up here, and the third eye being very much a part of that. Okay. So I want to teach you two simple techniques, two physical techniques, energy techniques to activate the third eye. And I also want to share with you two other techniques, which I'm going to start with first, to decalcify your pineal gland. Okay, so I'm going to start with those first two. So first of all, I mentioned before about the light and electromagnetic frequencies and radio waves that can interfere with the pineal gland. So my first tip is to turn off your Wi-Fi and come off of your devices in the evening at a decent time, from about, say, 8 or 9 p.m. So this is allowing no interference, and your pineal gland can start to really function optimally. It can produce melatonin, which is really important for the physical body and very important for these times with COVID-19. Melatonin is part of the system, immune system, that helps us to prevent COVID, but also recover from COVID. Pregnant women and children below the age of 9 who are those who have the highest levels of natural levels of melatonin in the body seem to also be, from a study that was done in China earlier this year, seem to also be at less risk. They also seem to recover from the virus much quicker, or they seem to have less prevalence of getting the virus also. So it's really, really important to work with this at a physical level. But then also what we're doing is we are preventing further blocking of the third, so we can go into meditation in the evening. It's a beautiful time as the veil is becoming thinner to go into these beautiful meditations. Now, if you want to know more about what kind of meditations to do and the kind of energy work to do to activate the third eye, join me at my Wednesday class, Evolve Yoga class. The link is in my bio. Or my Cosmic Breathwork, which is going to be happening soon, or even better, one of my online courses where I'm going to really take those of you that are ready for this deeper into activating these technologies. But I'm going to show you some. I'm going to show you I'm going to show you a couple of energy practices. But the second tip that I would give you to work on a physical level for decalcifying the pineal gland is to drink plenty of water and to also drink lots of lemon. So lemon juice and lemon essential oil drank through a straw is really fantastic way of decalcifying the pineal gland too, okay? And really starting to get water into our system to flush out the toxins, to flush out the buildup of calcium in our body is really, really, really important. Lemon does this really beautifully. So let's come to the two energy techniques that are going to help you to activate your pineal gland. So the first one is a mudra, and it's called Khechari Mudra. Now, I'm going to show you this. Let me take a drink. Okay, so Khechari Mudra is utilizing the tongue. Okay, so we're going to roll the tongue round and up so that the tip of the tongue is going to press against the upper palate. So the underside of the tip of the tongue is going to roll up and press against the upper palate. And we're going to push this tongue right back as far as you can. Now you can close your mouth. And also sometimes we keep the mouth open because sometimes we breathe through the mouth as we are keeping Khechari Mudra. Now, this mudra is absolutely fantastic for, first of all, going inwards and activating the pineal gland, but also for bringing ourselves into stillness and into silence. The busy mind, it's really important to be able to sit with and observe the mind. And this is a way that we do that. It kind of brings us into that conscious awareness. Then we can kind of sit and be aware of the mind enough, but with focus to go inwards to the third eye. So with Khechari Mudra, we can also go up with Sampadi Mudra, okay? So we're focusing with Khechari Mudra. And then Sampadi Mudra is where we're going to bring our inner attention to our third eye. Now we can do this in three ways. We can either simply keeping our eyes closed and our inner gaze soft, but take our attention to the third eye. Or we can keep our eyes closed and roll our eyes from the inside to our third eye. So you might be able to see kind of, feet might look a little bit like the eyes are rolled inside, but my eyelids are closed, and I'm rolling my eyes up towards the third eye. And the other way is to have it where your eyelids are more relaxed and you're rolling your eyes up to the third eye. So it looks a bit like this. Okay. Now, the last two, rolling the eyes up to the third eye, can feel like a strain. It can actually feel really intense for the eyes. And it did absolutely in the first phase of using this particular type of mudra. But it does ease because the muscles in the eye kind of learn to move in that way, and it totally eases. Okay, so we can activate Khechari Mudra, And we can go into Sampadi Mudra, and we can keep this for, say, 5, 10, or 15 minutes, where we're simply breathing, and we're just practicing the focus of maintaining the attention at the third eye. So the Kachari is helping us to focus. We're breathing naturally in through the nose, out through the nose, just nice long deep breaths, breathing down into the belly. And we're just keep coming back to the third eye. If our attention goes elsewhere, we just keep going back to the third eye. And we just drop and relax into that practice and just allow it to be. See what comes up, see what connections are made and where you might even travel. So start off with a few minutes and build this up. Okay, so let's just do this for, say, like 30 seconds together. Okay, so come into a nice seated posture. Take a few deep breaths in through the nose, breathing down into the belly, allowing those ribs to open up a little bit and the breath to go down. Relax the face, the neck, and the shoulders, the palms resting on the knees. And now roll your tongue into Kachari Mudra. Tap the underside of the tip of the tongue on the upper side of the palate, as far back as you can. And then roll your eyes into Sampadi Mudra. So either just focus at the third eye whilst your eyes are closed, or roll your eyes up towards the third eye, either with your eyelids closed or your eyelids relaxed and open. And just breathe naturally. And again, keep bringing attention back to the third eye. If you feel that the rolling of the eyes is too intense, then that's okay. You can just relax that and simply just focus on the third eye itself, keeping your eyeballs and your eyelids relaxed. So just keep bringing your attention back to the third eye in the middle of the head and forehead. As you breathe naturally and you press that tip of the tongue against the upper palate. Okay, and coming back to center and opening your eyes. So those are two practices that I've combined together. Very, very, very powerful. So you can just do the third eye activation, the third eye focus, and not work with the Kachari Mudra, and that itself is enough to activate the third eye. The second practice I'm going to show you is a Kriya, an evolutionary Kriya practice, evolutionary energy practice. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate breath of fire. So breath of fire is a pranayama technique, Kapalabhati, where you forcefully exhale through the nose as you pump inwards at the navel. And then you allow the air to naturally come back in through the nasal passage. Okay, so this is activating the pranic energy center here, the digestive prana. It's going to bring in an abundance of very strong energy into the system. And then what we're going to do is we're going to channel that up to the third eye. So we're going to put our hands into Namaskar Mudra, thumbs together, and the thumbs are going to touch the third eye. So we're going to focus at this as we activate breath of fire. So what's happening is the prana is coming in, down into the system, and it's rising back up through the Kundalini energy up to the third eye. And so we're really focusing the energy up to this point. So this is really going to help to decalcify the pineal gland and activate it in a really, really strong way. So you can start this practice maybe with 30 seconds, particularly if you're not very familiar with Breath of Fire, it may be a very strong practice for you. So you may want to just do 30 seconds to begin with and build up over time, and eventually get to maybe 3 or 4 or 5 minutes for a fuller practice of this Kriya. It's called Agya Awakening. So you're sitting in Siddhasana in a cross-legged position. We're going to bring the palms together at the third eye, and we're going to begin Breath of Fire whilst focusing at the third eye. We're just going to keep bringing our attention back to the third eye if our mind wanders. So let's force the air from the nose whilst we pump in forcefully at the navel, and then we're going to allow the breath to naturally come in. Let's quicken this up now. To finish, we inhale, we bring the energy all the way up to the third eye, and we hold our breath and we hold our focus at the third eye. We also apply the root lock, so we pull in and up our genital muscles and our perineum. So really squeeze and pull the root lock up and in to seal this energy. Hold the breath and hold the focus at the third eye. And then release the root lock and exhale and bring the energy back down. And you can bring your palms back down facing up on your knees. Take a few natural breaths. And then come back into the space. So at the end of that practice, we can actually activate the root lock 3 times even, or even 7 times. So the root lock is really helping to tone the energy at the root, but also it's sending the energy up to the third eye and it's sealing in this energy that we've generated. So you might have also started to feel that heat building up as part of the Kapalabhati. It's also the energy rising is really creating this heat in the body. So it's really good to distribute this energy afterwards by maybe doing some Kundalini circles or navel grinding. Some flexes also is really good. Doing some hatha, some asana to really energy, moving, shaking, dancing even, anything to just get that energy moving through the body so it's not just staying within the central channel. We want to get that flowing all throughout the body. Okay, so that was what I wanted to share with you today about working with the third eye and third eye activation. If this really speaks to you and you want to know more, please get in touch or leave some questions on the comment section. I'm always checking in with them later, and I'm happy to add some questions, or I'd love to hear your reflections. You might maybe want to give it a go and let me know how it feels. I have a yoga class every Wednesday where I share a lot more potent energy practices with the Kundalini energy system, but also, of course, with the third eye. I'm integrating pranayama, hatha, kriya, mantra, meditation. It's a really beautiful practice. And I'm integrating that with Reiki and internal family systems psychotherapy. I also have a cosmic breathwork journey coming up soon, and my husband and I are also going to be sharing a free satsang and journey and group healing, working with the energy of Sekhmet. She is an ancient Egyptian deity, and also working with the energy of Kali. And if you want to go into this further, you really want to develop your self-care, your personal care, your professional practice, and you know that these practices are really going to support and guide you, then Rupert and I have a brand new online course called the Energy Medicine Practitioner Training, the Holistic Medicine Practitioner Training Program, which is a 4-month online course where we're going to be going really deep into these technologies. So take a look on the Facebook page or the links in my bio. And yeah, I hope to connect with you in one of those realms soon. Deborah has a question. A while ago, we were working with Sananga in the eyes. Do you find this helps with pineal activation? Yes, I do. For me, so Sananga is a medicine from the Amazon, which is dropped into the eye, and it helps with third eye activation. It helps us to really gain clarity. Also, the eyes become very, very clear. And I find that when the pineal gland is clearer, it means that we can see energy. It's like we can see kind of beyond just the 5 senses. We can perceive things differently. And we can also see that connecting with our actual physical eyeballs, again, help us to bring that information in, working with also the pineal gland. Also for me, that Sananga, it comes in and it really, for me, it seems to just drop the energy at the solar plexus, at the sacral, and at the root. It just kind of releases that energy, and it helps this clear the central channel, the Sushumna Nadi, and the divine masculine and feminine aspects of the Kundalini to just work more effectively, to just be clearer channels, and for that energy to move up and down more clearly. So that's how personally Sananga, the medicine of Sananga of the Amazon rainforest, really supports me. So yeah, let's see if there are any other questions. Some kind of strange trolling happening, but that's okay. You're very welcome, Vicky. Thank you so much for joining in. It's been really beautiful to connect with you all. Okay, so yeah, I will see you out there. Have a beautiful day, and namaste. Hari Om Tat Sat.